Hey everybody, welcome to the show that always takes the blame for everything. That's right, 5 minutes you won't get back. A little show where we do 5 minutes of talking, and just remember the 5 minutes doesn't start until we say it does. Anyway, I'm Brian.
I'm Heather, and this will be longer than 5 minutes.
No,
Oh, we're not even gonna time it.
And if you see a car coming behind me, please let me know, because we're walking and talking, as they say in the industry. So we're up in Chi-Town, Chicago, and in the suburbs technically. And I went and visited my old house that I grew up in. Insert B-roll here. And for the record, don't tell anybody, especially if you're gonna buy this house. A person died in that house. Shh. It's my dad. It's fine. It's cool. It's cool. But he did die in there. So if you want to buy the house, there was a dead person in there for a few hours. Anyway, shelve that. And that's what we're going to talk about today. No. Anyway, as I've been driving around today in the more city areas, I realized how much, because I grew up driving a manual transmission car, and I realized how much I appreciate automatics these days. Yeah, I appreciate automatics. And before we delve too far, I remembered some stories about that house and in my manual days. So when I was trying to learn how to drive, right? I would be on the hill of that driveway. Insert B-roll again for reference. Anyways, I'd start at the top of the hill and then let myself go back and try to get the clutch going and boom, and go back up. And I keep doing it, boom, and go back up and do it. And my dad would literally be in the living room when he was alive. Anyway, he'd be in the living room and he'd be like, why are you doing that? And I'd be sitting there watching the tachometer, is that what you call it?
Yeah.
And making sure it didn't go to zero. And he's like, that's not how you drive. You can't watch the tachometer. You've got to just go. So anyways, I drove him nuts by practicing, because I'm like, I want to go out and practice in the car on the driveway. And he'd just shake his head. Anyway, and he'd also, for the record, since this is a big correlation with my father, apparently, the first thing he did with my manual transmission car to teach me how to drive, which is right down the road a little bit, he brought me to a church parking lot and made me do figure eights in reverse. Like, that's the first thing I had to learn. So that was horrible.
Figure eights in reverse. I don't think I could do that now.
Well, I was sweating. You put the stress on me. But once I got the driver's ed after that, it was like, I've done figure eights in reverse with a manual transmission. You guys ain't got nothing on me. Where's the interstate? So, anyways, those are a few of my memories about manual transmissions. But I will say, a lot of my friends also did not learn how to drive manuals. It was kind of like at that time where things were kind of shifting. I made a joke, shifting, but they were kind of shifting and changing. And yeah, I'd say a few of my friends never drove stick. I was like maybe like 50% of the class, if that, was driving stick. So I felt like, I could borrow other people's cars, but nobody could borrow mine because I had a stick and you didn't know how to drive it. Also, that was a problem because if we had to go anywhere and it was my car, I would always have to drive because no one could drive it. So There's that.
Well, then there's some of us who still now in 2024 insist on driving a manual.
Right, so she insists on driving a manual, and I don't understand it. Because, look, automatics are easier.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know, it's more, it's not that I want to drive a sports car or anything. I just prefer driving a stick. I don't know. And your car's safer. As a matter of fact, I can honestly say that my kid, who drives a stick and was driving a stick at one point, there was he was visiting some out of town people and everything, and anyway, and a whole bunch of cars got broken into, and he knew his car had been broken into, but they couldn't steal it because it was a stick.
And here comes a car, so we've got to go. And I bet this car that's driving toward us right now,
it's probably not a stick.
It's not going to be a stick, folks.
No.
It's going to be, I should stop them and ask them if it's good. It's a manual, but it's not. It's not. It's
no
not.
way. That's I don't know. I just feel like it's a rebellion thing, I just want the one thing that most people don't have.
Yeah. So she will never ever appreciate an automatic as much as
I appreciate automatics. I know sticks. Manuals are a pain in the butt in traffic. I get that, it is kind of nice when you can roll and get them to start. That's always fun. But, if you have to jump them or whatever. But I've had a couple of manuals.
Yeah.
Like, not. I mean, a couple of
Automatics.
automatics cars. But if I have my choice, I'm gonna drive a manual.
Yeah, see, I just don't, I mean, if I know I don't have to slow down and start and stop, I am good. I miss a manual, but that isn't very often. But man, like city driving, I'm sorry, never want a manual ever again.
Yeah, but look at all you gotta do is watch The Amazing Race and watch how many people really, really falter and fail. I don't even know where those people go to learn how to drive a manual. Like, if I was gonna go on The Amazing Race
Yeah.
and I didn't know how to drive a manual, like, who would I call? Nobody else I know. I don't think that station wagon was a manual either.
But anyway, I agree. Yeah, if you ever go in the Amazing Race, make sure you do a lot of training on a manual transmission, because you are going to be screwed.
You can come see me.
And she'll train
I'll
you.
teach you.
She's your person.
I actually taught 2 people how to drive a stick.
So, and for the record, I've not taught anybody because my daughter only drives automatic. Sorry.
She doesn't know what she's missing.
I know. Oh, and then we're kind of out of time already. Surprise, surprise. One more little story. See, this is what happens. I'm going to say this is what happens with a manual. That once again, it could be a problem. So I was little. I was in the back seat of my car. My mom is ready to go. She's in the front seat. I don't know how this happened. Whether she didn't put it into gear, she left it in neutral, and she thought she put the parking brake up. I don't know what caused it, but once again, we're at the house. Insert B-roll here. We're at the house, and anyways, she got out of the car. She went to the door. We're at the top of the hill, and then the car just started rolling back, and I'm in the back seat, and I'm like, look, if you look at the house, not anything really super bad's gonna happen. But as a little kid, I'm like, I'm going off a cliff. So I see it rolling. Luckily, as a young child, surprisingly, I knew where the brake pedal was. I didn't think about the parking brake. Maybe the parking brake wasn't working. So anyways, I just went.
That happens sometimes.
I went for the brake. So, but the best part was, as we were rolling down the hill, I saw my mom go to the door, turn around and go, and then start running toward the car in slow motion, because when those things happen, it always happens in slow motion. And anyways, I jumped over the front seat and got scrawled to the floor, and with my finger, and pushed the brake and stopped the car. So not only do I got an exciting experience, I was also the hero. And I felt pretty impressed that I could push the brake pedal with my finger. So that wouldn't have happened if it was an automatic.
Yeah.
So, because she would have put it in park, wouldn't have happened. And my life, wait, Heather, my life wouldn't have been in danger. I might not be the man I am now if something like that would have happened.
If you
Right.
had not escaped death with that experience.
Exactly. So,
Okay. You're right,
so
you're right.
while I see the nostalgia of the good manual transmission, automatic could save the day when you don't realize it. So
Yeah.
she'll always be a diehard. So
I will.
how many of you people still drive manuals? And do you drive manuals?
Okay, and I'm not asking, can you drive a manual?
But do you
But
currently
do you currently have?
a manual transmission vehicle?
Yeah.
So
And if you do, and if you have a newer car, actually, I'm probably going to have to look for one at some point in the next year or two. And there's very few manufacturers that still put those out. So
yeah, so there you
I
go.
don't want a sports car. I don't want to drive a Supra.
No.
I don't want to drive I don't need a sports car. I just want it to be a stick.
Got it.
I don't
So
know.
there it is. So let us know, because we want to know, because sometimes we get torn on this decision. Anyway,
We're not in trouble. We've actually managed to work through our
We
mustard
have.
and ketchup differences. If we can work through that, we're okay.
so there you go. That's all we got to share today. So enjoy your day. I'm Brian.
I'm Heather.
And just remember, it isn't a great day until we wasted 5 minutes of your time. And we'll see you next time in 6 months. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Notice I wasn't driving
Maybe
to this.
2025 is a whole new year.
Maybe. I wasn't driving in this video, by the way. And I couldn't do this video if I was driving with a stick.
I could. Because I am just that talented.